Hey everybody, welcome to AJS News. This is the first of 2 videos we got for you today.
But first, an important word from our sponsor.
Joe, we need to get him something for his birthday.
He's so hard to shop for.
I know.
Let's get him like tools or something.
No, Joe, he already has all the tools known to man.
What about a shirt?
Yeah, shirts are easy if he didn't wear circus tent size shirts. They're hard to find. God dang it. You know what? Go ask him for money. We'll figure it out later. Yeah, go ask him for money.
All right. Go. Hey, Dad, can I borrow some money?
For what?
School supplies.
Wait, isn't it May? And aren't you almost 40?
No. Sweet. Thanks, Dad. Okay, I got the money.
Okay, I think I have the perfect gift.
Yeah, me too. He needs a new calendar. He doesn't even know what month it is.
What?
Stupid.
No, no, a wallet, Joe. Look at how giant that thing is. An extra wallet, too.
But he's got a lot of stuff. What happens if that was too small?
He needs to slim down, and plus, Extra has plenty of other dad-sized wallets as well. It's the perfect gift. Let's do it. Okay.
Look, everyone, dads can be really hard to shop for. Get them something they actually want. Check out the AJS bundle. You get yourself a wallet, they get a wallet. You get tracker cards, they get a tracker cards with a massive discount.
All right, guys, click those links down below. In AJS News, we are working on Golem, and then there's just so many games to play. It's all good problems to have.
Not for Gollum. That's a big problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem to have. But it's crazy because we're still working. You know, these things take time, and we're working on a bad game when there's potentially good games going on right now and this month. So we'll get to those eventually. Thank you for your patience, and let's jump into some gaming news. Alex, what the hell has happened over the past week?
Capcom is completely and totally out of Resident Evil ideas. And I don't mean that literally, people who are mad at me. But they want to know what you think they should remake, because they already remade the first
Resident
one.
Evil Code Veronica.
They already remade the second one.
Does it?
And the third one, and now the fourth one, and no one really wants you to remake 5, 6, and 7, and then it's too early. And so
Yeah, five. Well, 7, of course. 7 was good. But 5 and 6, oh my gosh.
Is it just Resident Evil games?
The
Just Resident
giraffe
Evil
getting
games.
a blowjob, and 5, I guess, and 5 is hilarious punching the rock. I guess, yeah. So,
yeah,
they were bad. I have seen a resurgence in people liking 6 in the sense that it was like the movement, like because you can move really fast and then you like fall on your back and fire and stuff like that. But I think a lot of that came from how Capcom's movement restrictions have been so restrictive.
So bad, yeah.
And then they were like, oh, it's a breath of fresh air, but it still wasn't a good game and it still wasn't very good. So are people going to vote for those over Code Veronica? I don't know. I hope not. Capcom, we need Code Veronica, please.
Well, there you go.
That's the
now's
only
your
one.
chance to let them know.
Okay, well, I'm going to vote in that poll. Where the poll at?
Yeah, I would be shocked if they're already they got to be working on Code Veronica right now. I think this may be
Just a feeler or
in
something.
my opinion, they're working on Code
Idiots.
Veronica already.
They probably already know the answer.
And then they just don't know what to do after Code Veronica. They're like, shit, because they're trying
Hey,
to line
how
things.
about Resident Evil 9? Like, original shit?
No, because it takes new ideas and like how much
Well, you were
fungus
saying
do you
just
want?
Resident Evil. I was like, I want Marvel versus Capcom. Those.
Yeah, no. That takes licensing.
Dino
Yeah.
Crisis, other franchises of theirs that are dormant. There's plenty they can put their resources into. But I mean, I don't know how much these polls and these surveys really do, but it's worth voting in. It's worth letting them know what you think. And hopefully Code Veronica is the far away
next
most
one.
popular.
Well, they also want to know your age. They want to know how long you've been playing Resident Evil games and whether you'd like to connect more with other Resident Evil fans. Do you want to connect more online with more Resident Evil fans?
Maybe
It's like-
online co-op.
it's
I'm actually doing the survey right now, so I'll make sure the Code Veronica's on here, and I'll let you guys know. I don't even remember how old I am. I'm just gonna throw in a random answer, and I'll let you know if Code Veronica is even an option to select. But let's continue.
Oh, it's gotta be. It's gotta be.
All right. So after 18 years of development, there's a controversial game. 6 Days in Fallujah is finally releasing. I mean, this game's been in like development hell forever, and it started in 2005. And it was a video game based on a recent battle, which thousands of people were killed or wounded. And they're like, "This is not the kind of thing that you want to release.
It's a little insensitive.
It's like super insensitive. Is this a fluff piece? Is it propaganda? Maybe now is not the right time. Like now is not the time." Well, they feel that maybe now is the time, and it's finally going to be coming out in early access on Steam. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that it's difficult to talk about because white phosphorus was used, depleted uranium shells. Tons of people were, again, killed or injured, but a lot of people have been waiting for this game or to kind of like with a morbid curiosity, see what's coming out. It doesn't look great as far as, because we have a lot of combat sim games and there's some like high level polished ones. This one doesn't look like that one, but if you've been waiting, it's coming out this month.
So besides it being, I guess, the conflict, was there any other problems? Just
just massive people just like, hey man, this is not
pushing it back.
It's just not appropriate to release
because
this kind of thing.
real people died in the realistic depiction. Yet you've got game. Look, I understand the argument, but one of my favorite. It's just an opportunity for me to bring this game up. The History Channel Civil War Nation Divided on Xbox. You remember that game? That it was the Civil War, and you fire, and then it would take you about 2.5 minutes to reload. And it was super novel. I know there are games out there right now that do that all the time, right? War of Rights, Hold Fast, things like that. But this shit came out in motherfucking 2006, right? So I get the argument, is it too soon, right? Because clearly we all don't care if we're depicting real life events and people being shot and murdered and brutally killed. If it's, when did the Civil War happen, Joe? Do you remember the year? I don't actually remember the exact year. Do you? Can I stump Alex? Don't you look it up.
I'm not. I'm looking at when this game, because this game was in Fallujah, it should be
1861.
Okay.
I was going to say 64.
I was going to say too
early.
early.
Way off.
Yeah. But
so that's 250 plus years, then it's okay.
They wanted to do this a year or two after the actual battle.
Yeah,
a year or two after the battle, you are going to get pushback
because the war was still going on. There's still the occupation. There's still all those other things, and it's just. Honestly, I would be one of those people who's like, man, fuck off. We don't need this shit. Like, it'd be like trying to make a Ukraine conflict game right now showing real life things, of people dying. It's
you
like,
could
no.
do it adjacent, like, because you could be like, oh, okay, I want to fight for Ukraine, and then you could get games like Steel Division and the upcoming Broken Arrow. But if you would get pushback if that game was like literally Ukraine conflict 2023.
Too soon.
Right. So I see what they're saying. But anyways, what were they saying about it? Like, what's the controversy now?
Well, so there's no controversy now. It's so in 2009 we're like, hey, this game's coming out, and everyone's like, man, what the fuck's wrong with you? It's like, this is way too soon for you to do it. So it kind of got shelved, and so now that they've enough time, they feel enough time has passed. And they've talked with enough people. They've updated some things. So
updated the graphics.
So yeah, I would hope so.
And going through all. Okay, cool. Got it.
So it should be. It feels like enough time. And they've done a lot of interviews with people who are actually in the battle on both sides to try to give you a realistic approach. But again, that has people worried. It's like, man, I don't know how realistic I want to get. It's easy when it's an arcadey and it's a Call of Duty and it's this other thing. It's a little different when you're like, oh, that's that guy who died.
Yeah.
All right, so Bobby Kotick says some stupid shit again this week.
Oh, wait, well, let me interject. So Resident Evil 0 2 would be a good one. It's on the survey, so I'm clicking. I'm doing Resident Evil Code Veronica, and I'm clicking Resident Evil 0. Look at how many Resident Evil games there are.
There's like mobile ones on there too, right?
Yeah, there's like everything on here, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I was looking at someone was like, who?
They've only got 2 to 3 left, maybe, before they run out. So
they even give you an option for others.
Yeah.
They do give you an
Others.
option for others, and they give you an option for none in particular.
Yeah, please stop remaking the games. Start making new games. Okay. All right, so Bobby Kotick says some stupid shit again this week, as he does. The Activision Blizzard CEO says that there is no systemic issue with harassment, and says there's outside forces of evil unions and the media
Other entities.
that's like coming after his company, and it wasn't a giant problem. And
Yes, it fucking was.
Yeah.
What
it
a
was.
fucking cunt.
Yeah.
Of course the CEO is going to say that. He's so far removed from everything, just making money, driving on his yachts, not in the office every day with everybody
Oh, for
else,
sure.
getting his ass grabbed, maybe doing the ass grabbing. And plus, he's got to say that now for PR purposes. He wants to make it like it wasn't a big deal. Now, I mean, if you play devil's advocate, do people pile on a company like that after they fuck up? Yes! But it's fucking deserved. Maybe don't do that shit in the first place because you're already doing fucked up practices, and then you cross the line, people are going to fucking dogpile on you. And if you're crying over being dogpiled on, Bobby, shut up. Just shut up. You got to take it, okay? You can wipe your tears with your fucking
Oh, shit.
$1,000
He'll
bills.
be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
yeah, he will
$100
absolutely be fine. He was just again trying to claim that it's not this massive issue that it was. Bobby had a perfect opportunity to say, look, there had been problems in the past. We fired these employees. We've moved on. We've brought other people in. We're doing investigations. And, we're moving forward as a company. He did none of that shit because he's an asshole. Blizzard did put out their Activision Blizzard did tally their harassment reports for this last year in 2022. So the transparency report says it received 134 harassment, discrimination, or retaliation complaints in 2022 and found substance in 31 of them. So that, going through some of these other things, for a company their size, it looks like they've made massive progress. Like, to give them some credit. From the previous years when you're talking about, they paid out, I think, over $18 million, and everyone said that they should have been paying out hundreds of millions, like Riot had to. They seem to have kind of righted their course a little bit, talked about fired employees, employees not allowed to use messaging service, people moving departments. So it looks like they're fixing things a little bit, and I imagine
Yeah, I don't like that, though. It's like, we'll just move the departments. It's like you can't change their behavior just because you move them to a different department.
Yeah, I mean, also, it depends what the department is. If you're farting in people's mouths or air humping them like Riot, fucking fire that person immediately.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're an executive. Someone makes an unwanted pass at someone, because that was one that they came up there. It said someone tried to hit it on someone they worked with. It's like separating them is often enough, as long as they're not grabbing on them and things. But yeah, so that happened. And then, of course, the big thing for Blizzard this week is the early launch for Diablo happened on Thursday night, and then the full release. I was able to play a little bit on Thursday, a lot on Friday and Saturday. I had some other stuff going on Sunday, so I didn't get to play. And for the most part, the launch went okay. PlayStation, they fucked up PlayStation pretty bad. There was a licensing issue. Now, I think they're blaming PlayStation Network on this, saying that there was a workaround where if you paid more money into the monetization system, if you paid $2, you could further get in on top of already paying more to get to the early release. And then Saturday, something happened with all of their login servers. Over an hour, I was just stuck. Doc was stuck. A bunch of people were just like, wait a minute. This is people paid extra to play this because they wanted to play on the weekend. They only have this whatever time. And it went down again.
That's not a good sign.
Just
when
thoroughly-
everyone opens
Yeah,
up,
and
though.
then so they can't claim success even on the early access release. And then now this week, when you're talking about the 6th, which I think tomorrow, when the major release is, we'll have to see if their servers hold up. But if they're having issues with the smaller amount of people in the early
Yeah.
access, I'm worried that they're going to have another shit show on their hands. And it's really a problem, especially when this is a $70 release that is filled with microtransactions as well. And, when we talk about microtransactions, we all go back to Oblivion with the horse armor DLC. And you know what you can get in Diablo 4? Horse armor and $25 skins and all sorts of shit.
What?
Yeah, so there's a $25 Necromancer skin.
How much is horse armor?
The mounts are $15.
$25 to $15.
Yeah, and then $25 for the Necromancer skin pack, and
$25 for a skin. Motherfucking Blizzard thinks they're doing a free-to-play fucking game. That's Overwatch prices. Overwatch 2 prices, and Overwatch is fucking
It's
free.
more than Overwatch price.
This is $70. Come on, Blizzard. You have to make these prices reasonable for a paid game. Like, I understand in the game you get the loot, and I mean, we'll eventually get to that game. Alex is playing it now because he loves Diablo so much. He did early access, has some time to do it. I didn't have time to do it. So the reason why I bring it up is because I think you do get multiple armor sets, right?
I don't know.
Because, yeah, come on.
You
You haven't played it?
I played it, but you mean like the looks?
Yes.
Oh, you get tons. You get tons
of
armor.
looks.
Yeah.
So you don't have to buy
No, you
it,
don't.
is what people are going to say. You don't have to buy it. But the fact of the matter is,
price.
people will buy it. And the more people buy shit like that, the more they go, okay, we're going to reduce the amount of armor and loot drops that you get in the main game over time as we move along. All these younger gamers get older, and these young ones coming in are just used to this price, and then they get old, and then young ones, we could just keep moving that fucking thing, keep heating that pot up. We're the frog, and you have to, draw the line somewhere, and I draw the line at $15 horse armor and $25 skins in a fully priced game.
70
It's not even $70. You can go all the way up to, 100 collector's
100.
edition.
In my
and
opinion,
bullshit.
70 is more than a fully. So it's like they're charging more for it and giving you less and charging you for
So
it.
that's true. That's fucking unacceptable, and it needs to be called out, and it's ridiculous. And honestly, if you reduce those prices, I guarantee you your sales will go up, and that will make up for the fact that people are not only complaining about it, boycotting it, or refusing to buy it. You would probably make more sales. Like, say if horse armor was $1, or something like that,
Like,
and
yeah, it's not
fucking
bad. I'm
skins
having
are
fun with it.
$3.
Here's $1.
Boom, people probably buy 5 skins, and by the time you know it, they've spent more money than they realized. But don't do that. I'm just saying. I don't understand why these companies don't try something a little bit more reasonable and meet gamers halfway.
Agreed. That's
Well,
why.
I think is they ignore that they're ignoring Overwatch because Overwatch is in a different ecosystem than Diablo, and they're ignoring their other
They
stuff.
shouldn't ignore.
Well, I'm saying but
Yeah,
they're looking at
mindset.
they're looking at Destiny because Destiny's their next biggest competitor.
right.
Destiny is it's a looter shooter instead of the
Free to
ARPG.
play.
You're paying for the expansions and things, but Destiny
So?
charges $20 to $25. So it's like I said that perhaps the closest comparison charges full price.
Yeah.
The new expansions max around at $20
So
to
$25.
$25.
Other people set the price in the market,
and they're just moving it
like, hey,
a little bit more.
we're
and
making a little
so-
more because we're better than you.
Yeah.
No.
No, fuck that.
I would just say that
We already have this live service, and this is the stuff that comes with live service. And I think they said that there are a recent news story, the 2 expansions cooking.
yeah, that's the next. That's the
okay.
next one,
That's
yeah.
the next one. So they're gonna make their money.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to gouge their fucking players. And
No, I bought a new fucking game for $25. I play War
half the
Tales.
price of the game
that's-
to get a fucking skin. Jesus fucking Christ! No.
Yeah, War Tales is $25.
Exactly. It's like, do I
ridiculous.
want this skin that I might change later on,
War Tales, yeah.
or
Good game.
a full
Check it out.
fucking
They're
price
just
game?
they're gonna constantly release these skins, and the thing is, you buy your cool Lich Lord armor that you get for your Necromancer, and then they're like, oh, there's a $5 one that comes out in 6 months, and it's like, oh, you're an asshole, or I'm an asshole because I bought it. It's like, yes, you're an asshole. Don't buy that shit. But there's gonna be all sorts of opportunities, like you mentioned. There's 2 expansions for Diablo 4 cooking already. And according to them, live service allows for more content in seasons compared to Diablo 3. They said that they've learned a lot of mistakes that they made with 3, not giving people enough content, releasing kind of a shitty game that eventually got better. So Diablo general manager Rob Ferguson gave a huge interview talking about everything, talking about not wanting to burn out his people, talking about these 2 these expansions that are coming. And then this is something that he said, and I want to put on record to everyone here. This is what Rob Ferguson, the manager of the game, says. The mantra is no one can pay for power in the game, which is great because, we've already paid for the game. And so this is what they're saying now, but they're saying it now. Because remember, this is the opposite of Diablo Immortal, where you have to pay for power, and fuck you because you're poor. Give me your fucking money. And
Give me your
so
fucking money.
Ferguson is clearly not the person in charge of Diablo Immortal. That person is an asshole. And for this game, as of right now, the paid battle pass only has cosmetics. The store only has cosmetics. They're bullshit cosmetics. They're too much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still get whiffs of bullshit coming from Blizzard's camp where they're going to charge for something that's not technically powerful, but we're going to make the game super inconvenient for you unless you give me money because fuck you. All right. This week, the last one I want to talk about is Jason Schreier actually put out a big article on Bloomberg talking about Redfall. What went
Redfall? No, Joe, I don't want to play a vampire game.
Well, good. You play some Go.
Yeah. So we can
No, I want to play a vampire game. I want to play a vampire game.
I was hoping for a bunch of juicy, bits, and he's got a lot
Yes,
of
please,
a lot
juicy
of
bits.
They're one of them.
Aw.
Juicy bits. So,
All right, what the fuck happened?
it turns out that ZeniMax is ZeniMax, right? And they went to all of their studios and said, "We want you to make
ZeniMax kind of sucks.
live service horseshit filled with microtransactions, just like we did with Fallout 76, Doom Eternal, Wolfenstein Youngblood, and other releases." And they wanted like all these monetization things. And so the two game directors, Harvey Smith and Ricardo Bear, explained the project to employees. They're like, "Hey, we want to make an Arcane game, us, but multiplayer." And everyone's like, "Well, we don't do that. You can't do that." And then they said, "We want our game to be like Far Cry, open world first person shooter, Borderlands, RPG shooter." And they're like, "Those are conflicting ideas. What do you mean?" And they're like, "Good luck. Best be on your way."
Not necessarily. I disagree. I think it could have worked, but they fucked it up.
Yeah, so the people at Arcane saying like that's not that's not what
that's
we
not
do.
what we do, and we might fuck it up.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Good luck."
Yeah, so they said you can't do a multiplayer Arcane game because those are two
I
conflicting
still
things.
feel like you can do a multiplayer Arcane game if it's done well.
Yeah,
This one was
But
not
that was
done
just-
well.
not done
Yeah.
well. So according to
their forte.
the people that were working there, the two game directors had no fucking good ideas. They just said, "Go off and do your thing." There was massive attrition. Now, this is a stat just being thrown around like crazy. Now, there's a ton of attrition in the video game industry. You look at any of the big companies, especially ones in places like Austin. There's a lot of turnover anyway. People move companies all the time, but 70% of the Arcane Austin team that had developed Prey had left the company by the time that Redfall was released. So on top of massive, like normal massive turnover, that's huge.
That's a lot.
People not coming in, they had a hard time hiring people because people wanted to work for Arcane. But Arcane has a massive reputation, and ZeniMax in Austin has a reputation for massively underpaying people, so people don't want to work for them anyway. So when they do go to work for them, they want to work on that single player experience, and they get there and it's a shooter, and they just didn't want that. The other thing is when Microsoft purchased ZeniMax, a lot of the employees were like, "Oh God, thank God Microsoft's coming in. They're going to see this horseshit and cancel it."
Yeah.
And Microsoft had
They were hoping that
hoping
their
it got
game could get canceled or changed or money or something.
But Microsoft said when they purchased ZeniMax, they're like, "Hey,
Hey, we're gonna let you do your
we're
thing.
going to let you do your thing.
And
We
they're
trust
like,
you."
"Oh fuck, we're doing our thing and it sucks."
We trust you. He's like, we don't trust
We
ourselves.
trust. We don't. That's exactly what happened. I think.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So the bad guy seems to be ZeniMax in this situation, and the two games directors that just didn't tell their employee they couldn't get the right people in. They didn't have the right ideas. It was probably the wrong company. I mean, where have we seen this before? Where a single player focused company is like, "Hey, do Anthem, and this is not your thing, but we're gonna force you to do it anyway," and it turned out poorly. And I don't know.
I still think Arcane Austin needs to take a majority of the blame. A lot of poor decisions were made, and I don't. But to play again, devil's advocate, I'm sure they look. Hey, we need more time, and then that's when ZeniMax would be like, "No, you release it."
Even with more time, I don't think that game.
The bones.
Yeah,
are
no,
bad.
I agree. But with more time, it would have, I don't know, not been as
Someone should just
fucking
be like, "Look,
disastrous.
let's
as
not
it
take this hit. We need to cancel this game." Because long term, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
because
look,
they invest
this is
so
like,
many
what do you
millions
do?
of
They
dollars
did
and work
Redfall.
into it, Joe. That shit is hard to do. We've seen Activision do it before, but
Yeah, at
I
the same
think you're
time,
right.
it's like you look, it's like,
I
oh,
think you're
what
right.
games did they make? Redfall is like, oh,
Yeah.
now that's forever tainted.
Seriously, I mean, in the critical, in the fucking gaming journalist world, they're a critical darling. I mean, they're like 8s, 9s, 10s. Let's just say 10s and 9s just constantly, and then I don't know what they get. Man, I gotta fucking.
Well,
look them
Arcane
up.
Austin. So
I'll look
Arcane
it up.
Austin's
It's a
different than
2!
the other Arcane, because like the Arcane in France is the one that's got all the real big ones. Did Arcane Austin did Prey, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's the one, because the other studio that's kind of like, no, that's not us. We did Deathloop. Don't lump us in with
Oh,
them.
wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I need to look it up on which one did which, because I might be wrong on that, but at least I think.
Yeah.
I think the Austin studio did. Okay. IGN gave it a 4,
Which is a 2.
Which is a 2. So there, yeah,
It's
you
always
always
minus
gotta do -2. Sometimes you gotta do -3 on all IGN reviews. Then you're good.
A 4 for IGN is
Yeah.
real bad.
It's real bad. That's real bad. I like that. Who's bad? Michael J. Who's bad?
Who's
Real
bad?
From our Redfall review. Go watch our Redfall review again. Who's bad? Real bad.
Do you think if Redfall had released and they sold it at $30 or included with Game
That
Pass,
would help.
it would have helped? And like,
But polish the bugs. God damn it. They needed an extra 3 months to put polish on the turd.
Yeah, and because we were playing a hard difficulty, the vampire was just like frozen.
yeah, frozen in spot, or you just get
Kill the boss. As it go, he's dead. He's stuck underneath.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then my I could move my mouse like
Oh,
side to
yeah.
side, but it's like you can't turn. It's like, so I can't help in the final boss. It's like, no, you don't get to do anything. Oh, great.
No.
Well,
Yeah. So
All right.
we'll see. I mean,
So yeah, go ahead.
I bet maybe Microsoft is gonna stop this whole hands-off thing and go, oh, whoa, this is really bad for us. Phil Spencer's tired of apologizing for the companies that Microsoft now owns, and maybe he'll be like, you show me
It
your
just blew
homework.
up. Yeah, it just blew up in their face. I understand why they did it that way. It's like, man, you guys are doing good games. You're getting critical, 9s and 10s on. Go ahead. Holy shit. All right, maybe we'll peek in from time to time. And honestly, that probably should be the policy. But back to the Capcom thing, there is no selector for the game. That was, which games have you played? And Code Veronica was on there and Resident Evil's on there. You have to type it in. So I'm typing in Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil 0, and I'm going to put Resident Evil 5 just because I want to see them punching the rock. I will not put Resident Evil 6.
No.
So here's my submission. So I did it for y'all. It was a little boring, and I pushed through it, but hopefully Capcom will remake those.
So I've got the list of the differences between Arcane Leon and Arcane Austin.
Yes, let's
Arcane
do
Austin
it.
did Prey.
Okay, we were right.
So they did Prey. Arcane Leon did Dishonored 2. It doesn't mention which one in 2012. I don't think they had split at that point. So Prey was Austin.
Probably them both.
Leon did Wolfenstein Youngblood. So hell yeah. Deathloop.
Hell
was,
yeah, dude.
Deathloop was Arcane Leon, and Redfall was Arcane Austin. So Austin had did Prey, which is great, but they also did Redfall, which is bad.
Not good.
So okay. Well, that's what I got. You had one other one. Did you have another one, right?
I forgot my other one.
Metal Gear?
Metal
Metal
Gear Konami is officially basically remake. At first, I thought it was a new game, but no,
No,
it's
it's remake.
the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, I think.
Yes.
And but they're doing, of course, the most boring, lazy thing ever with the voice acting. It's like, oh shit, is he coming back? Are we getting all the original voice actors and then recording like some new lines or some different way? No. We're just going to take all the old lines and inject them in again. So basically,
It's
bare
easier.
minimum effort on everything.
easier.
Just a visual upgrade. Right, exactly, because Kojima has moved on. Is he involved in the project? Konami's like, no. Yeah.
Does
so
David
it's-
Hayter hate them now? Like, is he
Shit, I don't. Yeah,
Maybe
there
he hates
was
them.
something going on.
he's like, hey, I want to play him, and they're like, no, and he's like, but you would have been perfect.
Oh,
and,
man.
and yeah, and so maybe he's just like, oh, can you come back? And he's like, no, fuck you, and they just have to use the original. I don't know, but oh well, I'll still play it.
That's lame. Yeah, of course.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not required that they re-update all that shit, but just know that Konami's probably going to put minimal, effort in spending, other than the things that they have to with the remake, which is updating the visuals and things like that. They want to continue to make money off the franchise, who the guy they don't really value and kicked out of their company, and then they just spin it off to make pachinko machines and motherfucking Metal Gear
Slot machines?
Survival with the doggy dick heads and shit. Just ridiculous. Red rocket heads.
Oh.
You remember that fucking game?
Yes, I
Fucking
do.
ridiculous.
That's where you got Cuban energy.
That got good Cuban energy. Yeah, that's it. So, cool.
All right, guys. Make sure that you check out right now. Go to Exter, get yourself an extra wallet, get your dad an extra
Nice
wallet.
bundle.
It's a huge discount right now, and it's the perfect time of year to do so. So click those links down below.
And thank you guys so much, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show.